Hi, I'm Brandon Arthur, and I am with Street Leverage, and I am here with at the Walsley Conference with Nigel Howard. How are you, Nigel? I'm good, and I'm honored to be here. Thank you. So I came here to this conference, and I'm watching you cook, and I'm watching you interpret. So what's important about you getting involved in this conference? It's not a very easy answer. In my heart, I see interpreters in the community and also in the deaf world. And I don't see or I see the interpreting community and the deaf community. I don't see them really getting along all that well. And there's a lot of people that have a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience, and they're not just focused on North America, but they're people from all over the place, and their viewpoints, their perspectives, their thoughts, and we need that. Focus on North America, yeah, that's great, but it's not the only place. The world is the place, and we need to sort of get together and be more involved and open-minded with our language, our culture, our interpreting programs, our communities, so that we can, learn and then expand our minds, while at the same time what we see is a transferring of information from one community to our homes, and then a transfer back from our homes back into those communities. A lot of times we see, oh, I'm poor, I have nothing, I'm no good, I'm lousy, and that's not the right attitude because you're awesome. And when you see that attitude instilled in people, you can see how much better off they are. It doesn't always take university degrees or whatever. What you have is enough to contribute, and that I think really helps instill confidence in people and help build and grow. So in Venezuela, in my home city, we would say like, oh, you have to go to an interpreting program, or you have to get a doctorate first, and then go to an interpreting program. And I always thought, no, that's not true. Sure, it's important to go to an interpreting agency and try to learn, but there are some people who don't have much, and there are some people who have, you know, they get their doctorate at 50 years old or 30 years old, and they still learn and develop. So if you feel like it's important to match what's with your home country, go and do that. You don't have to always just only contribute with, you know, having all these experience. You can go with what you have. Yeah, so you see in both deaf communities and interpreters, they get involved in different countries, and we see deaf interpreters starting to develop. What advice would you offer to the global community that you can give to them to help them and help them grow and develop? I would say that we're human. Every one of us has needs, but we all have goals, desires, and passions. We all have that. And yeah, it's important to go to a university, get education and training, but we need to put a human face on what we're getting involved with. And when you feel like that humanity is involved, you feel a lot more communal. As an interpreter, as a community member, you feel more involved, and I feel like that's the most important thing. And when you're not like that, I feel like there's a lot of division. but we have a lot of knowledge that we can share with each other, and I feel like it's important to give that. Is that, and when you can see that we're all human, yeah, that's okay. So if you mess up now, yeah, you're probably going to mess up again in the future, but you're going to keep learning and growing. And if you just set up a community 50 years ago or today, you can still learn and grow from it. There's some people who have been with their communities for 50 years and they're still learning and they're still messing up and making mistakes, but now they can go back and look at their goals and try to learn. And so if you look back and you forget that human part, a lot of people do this where they sort of lose face, and it's important to backtrack and try to keep that. I definitely agree. Trying to learn from your mistakes and be human, it's important for development, and it's the best thing that you can do to learn and grow and influence those communities. So, in your experience, North America, um, you always hear what's waiting to hear from other places. What do you hope to contribute to this conference going forward to get more involved for people with Wolseley going forward? I think the most important thing is to keep uh, our bonds with the deaf community. If we don't have those bonds, then I think everything will start to fall apart. So we've had a lot of partners in the past that we've had really strong bonds with that we've maintained with, and we've always felt like it's been very beneficial. So when we see that community and that bond, and we want to keep it that way, and that's true for our connections with North America as well. So the Canadian CID, sometimes they look at the bonds that we have and they say, oh, why not? So let's go for 2018. We'll get together with them and try to build relationships. So hopefully the US is eventually the same. We can't work and develop our communities without the deaf community being involved. And the deaf community, when they see us, I think when we do get involved with the deaf community, we both benefit from it. So as someone who's been going to this conference for the third time, or 30th time, you've been going for 10 years getting involved. Um, so what do you think is the biggest thing about people who haven't come but want to go? Oh, I think you have to go. I mean, it's such an awesome conference. The people, their experiences, their struggles, their frustration, their success, their home countries. It's really incredible when you look at it. And it really helps you self-reflect too and try to think about what your home country might need to change or use to grow. So when you get that perspective and you start building those relationships with other people and from their countries, you can find out what's similar and you can try to use the positives from each person that you meet to grow. The so I met with someone in Africa, and I say, oh, I remember that country. I used to work with that country, um, and then from there you can see the development from that interaction. And so from there you go and you look for more and more people to get perspective from, to build relationships with, to grow. And you say, oh, we used to have that, and you can share your resources, your skills, your knowledge, and share your own personal truth. And it's always fresh, and it's different every year, but in a good way. So you can learn from their situations and other countries' situations, there's a lot to grow, there's a lot of work, and there's a lot of relationship building that at this conference that can happen. So that's why I think this conference is amazing. Yeah, thank you for taking the time to sit with me today, and I'm looking forward to more great things from you being involved at this conference. So thank you so much. Of course, it's my pleasure. Thank you for interviewing.